You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Ever heard that before? It's not just some motivational quote. It might actually be ruining your life. Epictetus, one of the OG Stoic philosophers, warned us, only keep company with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. But what if you're surrounded by people who do the exact opposite, and you don't even know it? We're talking about the kind of folks who seem normal, maybe even fun, but secretly drain your energy, chip away at your peace, and quietly hold you back. You think you're in control, but behind the scenes, your mood, motivation, even your habits are being shaped by them. Modern science backs this up. Studies show emotions are contagious. Hang out with complainers, guess what? You start complaining. Spend time with doers, you start doing. Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. They didn't just avoid bad vibes, they treated them like poison. So, here's the real question. Are there people in your life sabotaging your growth yet without saying a single word? Stick around, because Stoicism has a playbook for spotting these people, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. You ever talk to someone and feel like your soul just took a nap? That's the complainer. They don't just vent, they live in a world where nothing is ever good enough. The weather's too cold, the coffee's too weak. The universe itself is apparently plotting against them. And the worst part, they never offer solutions. Just a never-ending playlist of problems on repeat. Now you might think, whatever, I can just tune them out. But that's like standing under a dripping faucet for hours and pretending you're not getting wet. Over time, that negativity seeps in. You start to notice more problems, you get irritated easier, and your own motivation, it slips away without you even realizing. Stoicism saw this coming centuries ago. Epictetus said, avoid associating with people who make you become worse. Not mean people, not criminals, just people who slowly chip away at your peace. And science backs it up. Psychologists call it emotional contagion. The moods of those around you literally affect your brain. So if you're around constant negativity, you become it. But here's the good news. You don't have to play therapist, you've got options. First, limit your time with them. If you're stuck, say it's a coworker or family member, then mentally detach. Picture their complaints like storm clouds passing by. Loud, maybe annoying, but harmless if you don't chase them. Better yet, steer the convo. Okay, but what are you going to do about it? Is a magic phrase. Watch how fast that faucet turns off, because the truth is, life's hard enough. You don't need to carry someone else's gloom on your back. Protect your energy. Protect your mind. And remember, being kind doesn't mean being a sponge for someone else's negativity. But some people don't just complain, they pull you into the chaos. Ever feel like someone else's life is a full-blown soap opera, and somehow you're in the cast? That's the drama magnet. Every week it's a new crisis, a new betrayal, a fresh disaster. They live in chaos, and whether you want to or not, they'll drag you right into the storm. At first it might even seem exciting. There's energy, gossip, late-night calls, but here's the trap. Your brain doesn't know the drama isn't yours. Stress hormones still spike. Your body still reacts. Over time, you start feeling drained, distracted, and emotionally fried without ever knowing why. Stoicism knew this kind of person well. Seneca said, associate with those who improve you. Drama magnets? They don't improve you. They exhaust you. You might not even realize it's happening, because their stories are often dressed up as needing your help. You feel guilty setting boundaries. But Stoics would argue that if someone keeps pulling you into chaos, that's not friendship, it's manipulation with mascara. So how do you protect your peace? Start with reflective listening. Just echo what they say without feeding the fire. So you're hurt because she didn't text back? It shows empathy without getting sucked in. Second, create sacred time boundaries. Maybe that means silencing your phone after 8 p.m. or letting them know you're unavailable during work hours. You're not being cold. You're building a fortress around your mental space. Remember, you can care about someone without becoming their emotional crash dummy. Because the more chaos you let in, the less room there is for your own growth. Still, not all disruptions come with chaos. Some arrive quietly, masked as concern. Ever share a big dream with someone only to hear, that's not realistic? That's the naysayer. They'll cloak their doubt in wisdom, call it just being practical, and before you know it, your confidence is in a coma. They don't scream you can't do it. They whisper it with a concerned face and a fake smile. Naysayers are everywhere. Family, friends, even teachers. And they usually mean well. But their words plant seeds of hesitation. You start second-guessing yourself. That career switch? Too risky. Starting a business? Not stable. Traveling the world? Sounds irresponsible. It's like trying to run while dragging an invisible anchor. The Stoics warned us about these anchors. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." That means chase your path even when others don't get it. And modern research backs this up. Studies show that self-doubt spreads socially. The more doubt you hear, the more your brain starts believing it. So how do you deal with a naysayer without burning the bridge? Flip the script. Instead of just sharing your idea, ask them how they do it. When people feel like mentors instead of critics, their tone changes. You can also try positive confrontation. Challenge their doubt with curiosity. What would it take to make this work? Boom, now you're steering the conversation. Don't let someone else's fear define your limits. Because sometimes the dream they're doubting is the one thing that could change your life. But what if the biggest threat isn't doubt, but self-pity disguised as fate? You ever meet someone who's always stuck in a storm but somehow never holds an umbrella? That's the victim. Nothing is ever their fault. The job sucks, the ex was crazy, the universe is just unfair. Life doesn't happen with them. It happens to them every single time. And at first you feel bad, you want to help, you offer advice, encouragement, maybe even money. But over time you realize something strange. They never change. In fact, your energy goes down and their problems still exactly the same. It's like trying to bail water from a boat with a hole in the bottom. The Stoics had a name for this mindset: weakness of the soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." But the victim avoids that truth like it's garlic and they're a vampire. They'd rather blame the board than learn to play chess. So how do you stay kind without being drained? Practice compassionate detachment. Listen, yes, support, sure, but don't rescue. That's their job. If they're always falling into the same ditch, maybe it's time they learn how to climb out without you dragging them on your back. Protecting your peace doesn't make you heartless. It makes you wise. Because if you absorb their helpless mindset, it spreads. You start to see your own life through the same foggy lens. And that's how progress dies. Quietly, politely, with a sigh. Some people don't play victims. They just hide their claws behind a smile. Ever had a bad day and someone hits you with, "Just smile, everything happens for a reason"? Yeah, that's the toxic positivist. Their catchphrase, good vibes only. Their reality, a giant, glittery sticker slapped over a leaking pipe. They mean well, but their endless optimism feels more like denial than support. Here's the problem. When you're struggling, their positive energy can actually make you feel worse. Why? Because it invalidates your pain. You're not allowed to feel sad, angry, or overwhelmed. You're just supposed to slap on a grin and be grateful. But life isn't all sunshine and sparkles. Sometimes it's storms. The Stoics got this. They didn't sugarcoat suffering. They studied it. Seneca said, "A man who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary." That doesn't mean ignore pain. It means understand it, feel it, name it, and grow through it. That's called emotional granularity, the ability to recognize and process a wide range of feelings. And science tells us it makes people stronger, more focused, and less reactive. So how do you deal with the just be happy crowd? Stay grounded. If they say, look on the bright side, you can say, sure, but it's also okay to be hurting right now. That's not negativity, that's reality, and you're allowed to live in it, because real strength isn't pretending. Everything's fine. It's standing in the storm and still knowing who you are. But what about those who manipulate your empathy for their own gain? Ever say yes to something, then wonder how the hell you got roped into it? That's the manipulator at work. They don't demand, they suggest. They flatter you, guilt-trip you, or act helpless just long enough for you to do what they want. Suddenly you're living in a story they wrote and your script? Gone. These people are pros. They'll say stuff like, "You're so generous, I knew you'd help," or "I do it myself, but you're just better at it." It sounds sweet, until you realize you've become their unpaid therapist, errand runner, or emotional life coach. And the scariest part, you feel bad saying no. The Stoics weren't having that. Epictetus said, "Know what you can control and what you can't. And guess what? You can control your time, energy, and choices. One trick, it's called fogging. Agree with the part that's true, but don't give in. Yeah, I've been doing well financially, but I'm sticking to a budget, so I can't cover that dinner." Calm, clear, no guilt, and boundaries, they're not rude, they're necessary. You're not the villain for protecting your peace, you're just the main character taking back the pen, because if you don't set the rules, someone else will. And they'll write you into roles you never auditioned for. Your life isn't their playground, it's your path. Reclaim it, and sometimes they don't even steal your energy. They just steal your time. Ever sit down to work then ping, "Someone needs a quick favor"? That's a time vampire. They don't suck your blood, they drain your focus. A million little interruptions, a 5-minute chat that turns into 30. Suddenly, your whole day's gone, and you've got nothing done but answering texts and nodding through small talk. These people usually aren't evil. In fact, they often seem nice. But that's the trap. Because every tiny distraction feels harmless until you realize your momentum's shattered, your goals are buried, and your brain feels like it just ran a marathon in flip-flops. The Stoics were dead serious about time. Seneca said, "People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful." Time is your most valuable currency. You can't earn more of it, so why give it away like coupons? Want to stop the bleeding? Use time blocking. Set hours where you're completely unreachable. Try the Pomodoro technique. 25 minutes of focused work, 5-minute break. No interruptions. If someone tries to break your focus, a simple, "Can we talk?" in an hour sets the boundary without being rude. You're not a bad friend for valuing your time. You're a better version of you because you protect it. Because your goals, they don't care how friendly you were in the group chat. They only care if you showed up. Time is your life's canvas. Don't let someone else scribble on it. It's easy to spot these people in your life, the complainer, the drama magnet, the manipulator. But here's the uncomfortable truth. What if you've been one of them too? Maybe not on purpose. Maybe just a little too negative lately. Or maybe you've leaned on someone's time without realizing how often. We all play roles in other people's lives. The question is, what kind of role are you playing? Stoicism isn't about judging others. It's about understanding yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let each thing you would do, say, or intend be like that of a dying person." That's not morbid, it's a reminder. Life is short, time is precious, and your actions, big or small, leave ripples. So make sure they're the kind you're proud of. The best part? You don't need to be perfect, just self-aware. Start catching those patterns. Pause before you vent. Ask before you unload. Choose silence over gossip, clarity over chaos, discipline over distraction. It's not about being a stoic monk on a mountain. It's about making better choices, even in small moments. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with one of these people? Or realized you were becoming one yourself? Drop your story in the comments. Let's grow together. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more Stoic strategies, and share this with someone who needs a little reminder. Remember, life isn't something that just happens to you, it's something you craft, so craft it well.